In just 2 days, one of the best part twos in worldwide history is dropping. But what time will it be in your local time zone? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. You heard right. In 2 days, part 2 of this year's worldwide download celebration will be kicking off, and so we're going to spend this video talking a little bit about the units and when you can expect to see these guys in your summon screen in just 2 days. So let's go ahead, let's hop in, let's talk about a little bit about the BROLY and the Gohan. So I'm not going to do a full overview of their kits here because we're going to do that in the separate Search 7 video. We're just kind of talk about what to expect here with BROLY. So BROLY is the Dokkan Fest LR, right? And he's going to be leading Uncontrollable Power, the new category, Revenge and Planetary Destruction, with 30% to movie bosses, Transformation Boost, and Pure Saiyans. Honestly, I mean, it's not the best leader skill ever, but it's pretty good. It covers most of the units you would want around him anyway, so I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. He is really interesting in that he is a massively defensive unit that provides an insanely powerful domain early on. This is really helpful for, you know, basically all of Broly's team who need that little bit of protection for the first couple of turns, especially in some of these harder fights. Like you think like Int Broly, Tech Broly, AGL Broly to a degree, need a little bit of help defensively from these big supers early on in some of these fights. So his domain does end up helping with that. To add on to that, he's also providing some additional ally support with 60%, along with key sphere changing, as long as he has procced his revive, which pretty easy to get, right? So all in all, he's looking pretty good. He's kind of the little to me, like when I was looking at Broly's team prior to this, I felt like a revive and massive support type character like this is the thing that his character that Tech Broly's team was missing, and this guy definitely fills that role for that team. On the opposite end, we have the LR Carnival Gohan, right? This Carnival Gohan standbys into the LR family Kamehameha, and he, of course, as a result, leads Kamehameha for 200%, which is an insane freaking category. Like, every powerful unit in the game, for the most part, is under this leader skill. So honestly, I mean, it's pretty darn good. To add on to that, he himself is probably one of the hardest damaging super units in the game, bar none, right? Like, especially when you factor in that he's also got the standby, the family Kamehameha, is beyond the level of the Z Duo's standby, right? It hits much harder, much easier, much faster. So, I mean, like I said, one of the best damaging super classes in the game, I think. I don't know if the APT is quite the highest, but it's certainly up there. So, all in all, these are two very good units. I mean, compared to previous Part 2s, not to say I didn't love last year's Part 2, they knocked it out of the park this year. Part 2, like the anniversary this year, is equal, if not better, than the Part 1, in my opinion. So with that in mind, when can you expect to see these amazing characters in your game? Well, as always, we have our handy-dandy time zone converter and the Dokkan Wiki. So according to the Dokkan Wiki here, at 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time on September the 13th, we can expect to see these guys dropping in game. So for me, that's a little bit in the afternoon. It's not a bad time, but of course I will be working, so it's a bad time for me then. But the question then remains, well, what's that looking like for the rest of you guys out there? Well, thanks to our handy-dandy time zone converter, we can take a look here and plug and chug our numbers till we figure out where everybody's at. So if we go ahead and hop right across the pond over to Pacific Time, California, all the way up to Washington, you guys on Pacific Time are looking at 7 p.m. for the release time of this this part 2. Over on Mountain Time, you guys are looking at an 8 p.m. release time. Central Time, looking over at 9 p.m. And then, of course, the easternmost, all the way from Florida up to New York, you guys are looking at 10 p.m. release time. So, I mean, really, this is probably one of the better banner drop times for us over here on the United States side of things. But of course, you know, maybe it's not so good for the rest of you guys. We may want to look, right? Every time global shifts the times, like sometimes it's good for some countries, and then other times it ends up being bad for others, right? Like usually Dokkan release times are often pretty bad for us over here in the United States, meaning, you know, a lot of the times, you know, we're getting banners released, you know, anywhere between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, depending on our time zone. So it's not really... This would be a nice change of pace, I think, for a lot of people, myself included. Even though it's 4 p.m., it's still a pretty good time. If I wasn't working, it would be a much better time. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at a few other places. So I know I got a bunch of you viewers out there over in Manila in the Philippines. You're looking at an 8 a.m. time over on Saturday, September 14th. This is one of the first few banners we've had in a long time that is dropping on a Friday night, Saturday morning. Over in New Delhi in India, IST, you guys are looking at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday, September 14th. Heading back over to Europe, Eastern European Summertime, EEST, you guys are looking at a 5 a.m. release time in accordance with what we have here, the 4 p.m. time for us. Now, most of you guys are probably, you know, somewhere, you know, there's quite a few of you guys watching, I know, that are in England, France, Germany. So if you're in England, you are looking at a 3 a.m. Release time. So yeah, for the first time, you know, things are switched. So while the United States is getting kind of lucky here, unfortunately, Europe not doing so well. Over in Hong Kong, I know there's a few of you out there watching. HKT, you're looking at a 10 a.m. on Saturday, September 14th. And then I know our few lucky viewers in South America, Argentina time. I know there's a few others, and we'll drop those here in a minute. You're looking at 11 p.m. on Friday, September 13th. So kind of lining up with in between Eastern and Central time. So if you want to use this converter, I will drop the link down in the description so you guys can test it out yourself. And then, of course, in order to add, all you simply do is type in the time zone here. So, right, you know, we got a few of you guys over in France that are watching. We'll pull that up, right? So if you're in France, you're looking at a 4 a.m. CEST. I believe Germany is on CEST. I know there's a few of you guys there, but you guys are also on the same time zone, right? Yeah, same time zone, CEST. So, I mean, it's a pretty easy tool to use. It's a very, very useful tool to use. I always recommend using it whenever these banners drop. Or, of course, heading over to the Dokkan Wiki and just straight up opening the link, right? If you open the link and you have your desktop computer set to your local time, it will automatically adjust to your local time, so you can figure out what that is for you. So for me, that is Friday, September 13th at 4 p.m. So, I just want to say to anybody who will be summoning on this banner, good luck. You got a couple of days, but now you know when it is dropping, and you can plan accordingly to set up your summon time. So guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know what is your time zone. If I didn't cover your time zone in the list here, let us know. We'll try to hit you up in the next time zone video. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.